One of the biggest pushbacks we hear is, I don't have time. You're in the day to day grind like everyone else. So, can you talk about how you make time for learning? What does that actually look like in your workflow? And how do you stay consistent?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is that it's in my workflow. I don't have to block off an hour for training or commit to a 40-step course. I can learn in those small gaps in my day that you mentioned, in those bite-sized chunks when I need it. I can spend 5 minutes before a call brushing up on what's most important to a learning and development leader. And then right after a meeting, I can listen back to it and send, parts to my manager for feedback. If I had a challenge with a question, answering a question, I can clip that, send it back for feedback, and then sitting in the kitchen getting my coffee or eating lunch, I can review it on my phone as feedback an hour later the next day in my own time. I think a great example of this was actually last month. As a seller, we're all about business days, and with the holiday, November is rough. We kind of lose that whole week. And so the week before Thanksgiving, we actually had an hour training scheduled at, I think it was 10 a.m., which is kind of like golden hours for us to make calls. And so instead of my team spending that hour on a call with everyone, we can keep working. And after the training, that video is broken down to bite-sized chunks so we can, watch the relevant pieces of it when we had time later that day or later that week. And then that reinforcement of my manager and my team really does matter. I think when the why is clear, when I know exactly how a piece of learning will help me on my next call, it becomes a lot more something that I want to make time for. It doesn't feel like a burden or like an additional piece of content. It feels like something that I want to do, and I will squeeze it in because I prioritize that. It makes my job easier, which is what we're all trying to do.